want to, and we'll talk a little bit about, because while you're navigating this new workforce and new career in workforce management and talent acquisition, you're also at the same time you're working on getting your law degree in Ecuador.
Yes.
And at the same time, working full time, you're also applying for your citizenship.
Yes, that's correct.
Like, all at the same time.
Yes, I multitask a lot.
So tell me about what that was like, because you would often tell us and share with us about all the paperwork and the things that you had to go through to prove it. It's not an easy process, I think, with people, and I want to educate our listeners on that when we have this, because when we had the banning of Muslims coming here to. And we, my husband and I and several of our friends, we went out and protested at the airport, you're welcome, when they were putting the ban on Muslims. And so you had, at that time, were really talking to me about how difficult it is. Because, at the time, the Trump administration, everybody was like, oh my God, they're just coming here in floods and all these things and all these negative stereotypes about, people coming here illegally. But it's like, that yes, we do have people that do come here illegally. They're escaping persecution and trying to survive. But to get citizenship, to go through it in a legal way, it is not easy.
No, it's not.
And I think if listeners and people would understand and hear, like, what does it take to get somebody to go through the proper procedures to survive?
Yes.
Share a little bit about that. Share your experience on that, because I think there's a lot of education there.
So first of all, when you start the process, and you have to be a permanent resident first, which I explained before, but that would mean that someone has to sponsor you. So if it's your husband or your parents or whoever is asking for you to be here, right? Mm-hmm. So that person has to make 3 times minimum wage. So that's about $27,000, $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Think about how many people make that. Most people are, that are applying and are fleeing are maybe at 12,000, 14,000.
They're not making that much.
They're not making that much. So that's one thing. So
their
you
poverty.
have the poverty level. So you first have to find the sponsor that will be able to sign the affidavit saying that they will support you for 3 years while you get your 10-year resident, which in my case obviously was my husband. And thankfully he was able to support that at the time. But who
could be another sponsor?
It could have been a family member of him.
Okay.
If they were okay with that, which, it seems you're signing an affidavit saying that you're going to pretty much support me for the next 3 years. Okay. So it's not something that a lot of people would do for someone.
An employer?
It could be if you're going to do an H-B1 visa, I believe.
Okay.
But that's way more expensive as well. Okay. That's if you want to bring an employer to the workplace. And you have to go through a process as well. But this is just immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So in this case, me and my husband, and I make jokes all the time. What if he worked at McDonald's? How do I come here legally, right?
Yeah.
It would have been impossible.
Yeah.
So after that, you have to prove that you're together. You have to go to the interview. Then you get your work permit till you wait for your 2-year conditional car, which takes 6 months.
Okay.
After you get that 2-year conditional car, you got to make sure that you apply 3 months before your car expires to get your 10-year.
Yeah. And
after you get your 10-year, you have to wait till you qualify for citizenship. When you're married, that's 3 years from the from the day that you get your conditional permanent car. So let's go back to the first one, right?
Oh.
Yes. If you are not married and you're asking for your daughter, you have to wait 5 years. So when you're married and it's directly to a U.S. Citizen, is 3 years after your first conditional car. And if it's not, marriage, and it's just directly like an immediate relative, like your mom or your son, then it's 5 years. If it's your sister, you go to the website for Homeland Security and you have to see how long the process takes. Like for me, it would be 10 years if it was my sister. So it's just one of those things that it takes a long time, and it just depends on where you're at. So
you need a good education.
Yes.
You need a good sponsor.
Yes.
You need a good amount of money.
Yes.
to navigate all that.
And then you have to pay the attorney fees. I mean, I was thankful I was referred to someone who was doing a lot of college students. So she was very nice to us. But most attorneys charge between, $2,000 or $3,000 for the process, and that doesn't include the interview or the
Wow.
filing fee. So every time you file for your work permit, now it's free, but it wasn't before, or you apply for your 2 years and then you apply for your 10 years, that's a filing fee. That's between $800 to $1,000 depending on the year and what the fees have changed. So for citizenship, you have to apply and you pay $1,000 just for the filing fee alone.
Holy cow.
Yes. So after 3 years, I could apply for citizenship. After you apply for citizenship, you wait. Now, on top of that, you have to show that you pay taxes for the last 2 years as well. So you have to show all your W-2s, make sure that you pay all your taxes, federal taxes. Otherwise, you can't apply. So that's another thing. If someone, for some reason, didn't know how to pay their taxes, because that's common on the Hispanic community, and I've learned that a lot through the Ecuadorian Association that I'm part of, that people just don't know why you have to pay taxes. They think cash is better because the way that things work down in Latin America.
Yeah.
They don't know what credit is, or, so once they're ready to go through the process, they don't have any of those things because they don't have the education to know that they have to have those ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot.
That's a whole lot.
Yes.
And now you have your citizenship.
Actually, I'm applying for it right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we just file and we just have to wait till they send us a letter that, we can go do our other interview to make sure that marriage is still in good faith.
That's the other thing. You have to go through. You're also being investigated with your marriage.
Yes.
To make sure it's like, oh, this is legitimate.
Yes. And then they asked me the questions again, by the way, during that interview, same questions. And then they make me learn 100 questions by heart. And then they asked me 12 now about American history, who's the president now, and just...
Is it this difficult to apply for other countries? Do you know?
For Ecuador, I think for Ecuador, you only have to you have to show that you have employment. And you have to have a sponsor there too, not as big amount of money, and where to live and have a job. And then after 90 days, you can apply for it. And then you pretty much get approved with it like maybe 4 months. And then you're pretty much a citizen.
Yeah.
If you were to do that in Ecuador. But as I said, it just depends on the country.
Yeah.
But, I mean, U.S. is very thorough. I heard a lot of people being like, oh, the process is too easy. No, it's not easy. It's tedious.
It's not.